Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are focusing our attention on something that's, well, it's a critical and often misunderstood part of owning a home. We're talking about professional tree service.
Right.
We're going way beyond, the guy with a mower. We're diving into the specialized knowledge it takes to manage these massive organisms on our property lines.
Yeah, organisms that can be pretty dangerous if they're not handled right.
Exactly. And our deep dive today is built around the service descriptions from a company called Perfection Tree Specialist. They work in the Whittier and Downey areas in California.
And our mission here is to really give you a shortcut to being an informed homeowner.
Yeah.
We're going to dissect what they do, not just to list their services, but to understand why they do it.
The why.
And what that tells you about, real property safety, tree health, and honestly, your own liability. If you think tree care is just about making things look nice, well,
Yeah.
you're in for a surprise.
That's a great point. The source material, it doesn't lead with a price list. It leads with expertise. Right away, they say they use certified arborists.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just pause on that. I think most people hear arborist and think tree guy, but what does that certified part really get you? Why is that the bare minimum?
That's where the real expertise starts. A certified arborist, they're basically a tree doctor. They've gone through a lot of training, and they have to pass this really extensive exam from the International Society of Arboriculture.
So it's a legitimate professional standard.
Oh, absolutely. They aren't just cutting branches. They're experts in tree biology, in diagnosing diseases, risk assessment, proper rigging.
Rigging, okay.
It's the difference between someone with a saw doing a cosmetic job and an expert performing what is basically structural surgery to keep a 50-foot potential liability standing safely.
Structural surgery. I like that. Okay, so with that expertise in mind, let's look at the preventative side. Starting with tree trimming service, what are the actual non-cosmetic goals here?
The goals are all about, well, pathology and structural integrity. The sources point to three main things. First is improving air circulation.
Okay, why does that matter?
A really dense canopy traps moisture,
Yeah.
right? And that creates a perfect breeding ground for fungal diseases. So proper thinning lets the tree, dry out and breathe. It stops disease before it can even start.
And the second one?
Second is removing dead or diseased limbs. I mean, dead wood in the canopy is. It's a ticking time bomb. It's weak, and it can fall on your roof, your car, anything.
Right.
And third, this one is key, is guidance. They use specific pruning cuts to steer the tree's growth away from your house or from power lines before it becomes a huge, expensive problem.
That guidance point is really interesting. You see people who just chop the top off a tree, they top it, it looks terrible. Is that what we're talking about here?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Topping is, that's amateur hour. It's basically a death sentence for a tree in the long run.
So what's the right way?
Proper pruning is. It's about techniques like crown thinning, where you remove inner branches to let light and air in, or crown reduction, which makes the tree smaller but leaves the main structure intact. The arborist knows exactly where to cut so the tree can heal itself properly.
Got it. Okay, let's shift to a quieter threat. Ivy removal service. This seems kind of simple, but if it needs its own special service, I'm guessing there's more to it.
Yeah, ivy looks nice and classic, but it is fundamentally destructive. It's like a parasite on whatever it's growing on.
A parasite, wow.
On a tree, the source material says it can weaken the tree bark. The little ivy roots, they get into tiny cracks in the bark, and that creates openings for pests and for decay to get in.
Okay, so it's a physical attack on the tree.
It is. But the more immediate issue is that it's choking the tree out. It blocks sunlight from getting to the tree's own leaves, so it can't photosynthesize properly. You're essentially starving the tree.
And on a house. Or a fence.
Same idea. The dense vines trap moisture right up against the wood or the wall. And that just accelerates rot and damage. Getting rid of it isn't just for looks, it's restoring the balance of your yard.
So we've handled prevention, but let's say a tree is it's past the point of no return. Now we're in the crisis zone. Tree removal service. What's the tipping point where an arborist says, okay, this has to come down instead of trying to save it?
It's a pure risk assessment. It's all about the likelihood of structural failure. Removal it's non-negotiable when a tree is severely damaged, dead, or has significant decay you can't fix.
What are they looking for specifically?
They're looking for things like extensive root rot, big hollow cavities inside the trunk, or if it's leaning really badly toward a target, like your bedroom.
Yeah, that would be a target.
When the risk of it falling is greater than the value of the tree, it's got to go.
The sources mention using advanced equipment for this. If you've got a giant oak tree hanging over a house, what does that actually mean? What's the difference between that and just a guy with a rope and a saw?
This is where that certification really, really pays off. With a big oak, you're managing thousands of pounds of falling weight. Advanced equipment usually means complex rigging systems.
So ropes and pulleys.
Ropes, pulleys, friction devices, all designed to lower huge pieces of wood to the ground slowly and with total control instead of just, dropping them and hoping for the best.
And for those really tough spots, like a tree wedged between two houses.
Then you're often talking about a crane. A crane can actually lift massive sections of the tree up and away from the property, then set them down safely in the street. It takes incredible precision.
Now for the really interesting part, emergency tree removal service. What qualifies as a true emergency, and what does it take for a team to promise a fast, dependable, and quick response?
An emergency is when safety is compromised right now. A tree has fallen across your driveway, and you can't get out. A huge limb has crashed through your roof. Or high winds have left a tree just waiting to fall on your house.
And the logistics of responding to that must be immense.
Oh, it's a massive challenge. It means you have to have crews ready to go 24/7, and they need heavy machinery cranes, chippers, everything ready to deploy in what's often terrible weather.
Right, in the middle of the storm.
Exactly. When they promise a quick response, they're promising to get there, remove the immediate danger, and make the area safe so you can even begin to figure out what the damage is. That's a huge commitment.
Okay, so the tree's down, it's been hauled away, but you're left with the stump. Let's talk about the stump grinding service. Why not just cut it flush with the ground? Why grind it deep below the surface?
Well, just cutting it low leaves you with an ugly tripping hazard, for one. But the real problems are a bit deeper.
Literally.
Literally. First, the old roots are still down there, so you can't plant anything new or build something in that spot. But more importantly, a decaying stump is basically a giant welcome mat for pests.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Termites, carpenter ants, all those wood-boring insects, they love decaying wood. You do not want to invite them to set up a colony right next to your house.
So the grinding is really a form of pest control.
It is. By using those grinders to chew up the wood deep below the surface, we're talking 6 to 18 inches down, they remove the food source, stop it from resprouting, and destroy that pest habitat. It just becomes usable soil again.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, let's wrap up the process with the final stage of any big tree job. The absolute mess it leaves behind. The yard cleanup service. How is a professional cleanup different?
The difference is completeness. A pro service sees the cleanup as part of the job, part of the risk mitigation. This isn't just raking leaves. We're talking huge volumes of wood chips, branches, heavy logs.
Yeah, it's a mountain of debris.
It is. And the sources say they combine this with a full tree debris removal service. That means they cut it, chip it, haul it, and clear the entire site. They make sure the property is left spotless. You don't have to hire a second company to deal with it.
The job isn't done until the cleanup is done.
Exactly. It's the full completion of the project.
All right, let's shift to the practical questions a homeowner has before they even make the call. Let's talk cost. How is pricing figured out for something so variable?
The pricing is always dynamic, which is why that upfront estimate is so important. It really comes down to three things. The size of the tree, its condition, is it healthy or is it rotten and unpredictable? And most importantly, its location.
Location, meaning how hard it is to get to.
Precisely. Is it in an open field or is it squeezed between your house and your neighbor's fence over a swimming pool? The more complex the rigging, the more equipment they need to protect the property, the higher the cost.
Which is why they have to come out and give a free estimate up front.
They have to. A certified arborist needs to be on site to assess all that risk before they can give you a real number.
The source also says they're equipped for large or hard-to-reach trees. We talked about cranes, but what else gives a homeowner confidence that a company can actually handle a really tough job safely?
Confidence should come from their investment in technology and training. I mean, big tree removal in a tight spot it's less about brute force and more about engineered weight management.
Engineered weight management. I like that.
It's just confirmation that they have a plan, a safety plan for every single cut, for every piece of the tree. That capacity is what separates a true specialist from a part-time operation.
Which brings us to maybe the single most important piece of this whole puzzle, trust and legal standing. What protection does a homeowner get from them being licensed and insured?
This is This is absolutely non-negotiable. If you hire someone who isn't insured and they drop a branch through your neighbor's roof,
Or
if one of their workers gets hurt on your property,
you're liable.
you, the homeowner, are on the hook. It can be a financial disaster.
So what does that license number mean? They list License us Act 99848.
That license number proves they meet the state's requirements to be a contractor. But the insured part, that's your shield. It means their insurance covers their workers and any damage they might cause. It shifts all of that liability away from you and onto them.
That distinction between just doing yard work and actual risk management seems to be the biggest takeaway here. We went from trimming all the way to multi-ton failures and the legal fallout.
Exactly. Expert tree care is this sophisticated mix of proactive health maintenance, crisis response, and that absolute foundation of licensed and insured protection. If you hire the wrong person, the potential cost is it's exponential.
Well, thank you for unpacking that entire cycle for us. It's incredibly insightful.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
And as a final provocative thought for you to consider, this company makes a point of highlighting their legal standing, their license, and insurance. So that should raise the bar for what you expect from anyone. So, given that, what specific paperwork or documents should you ask any tree service provider for before they start to make absolutely sure that your own homeowner's insurance policy is fully protected if an accident happened on your property? Taking that extra step is the ultimate act of managing your own risk.